Hi, everyone. Let's talk about democracy, a noble, very nice ancient Greek concept meaning government by the people, government where the views, the needs, the ideas, the thought from the great larger collective is taken into account. And rulers are elected according to the choices from the people. This was the classic idea. In Western countries, mostly, we tried to adopt it with some amount of success in the past. And the idea was that the majority of people, at least, would be able to choose something, to have a voice that would be listened to. And generally speaking, we also learn not to like political dictatorships where tyrants govern countries without consideration for the majority's views, needs, whatever. They are just serving themselves and the few around them. And typically, they control everything. They have a strong bureaucracy for that. They suppress, kill dissident voices. Some classical tyrants, they have been even beneficial to the collective to some extent, echoing perhaps the idea that in ideal governments, philosophers would be kings or kings would be philosophers, like I think Plato said. But it's very rare for that to happen. And even when it happens, there is still some inconvenience there because they are choosing for everyone else. They are not allowing each citizen to have a voice, to have a choice, and to grow as a human being, because he has a personal responsibility towards the collective and he lives accordingly. Actually, his freedom and his responsibility are sort of suppressed also. Now, in Western countries, we used to be sort of proud that we did it differently. In modern times, people would be able to choose to have a voice. We would be favoring the development of each human being and its notion of being a civilian, participating in the great collective. Now, what we have more and more is no longer that. What we have in the Western countries is an economical dictatorship, where the big economical powers rule everything, and they make it seem like we still have some choices, but our choices are going really down. What happens is that we are manipulated. When a politician is elected, that means someone paid for his election. Someone paid the campaign. Usually that politician made some compromises in his or her path to the power. He agreed with something towards the economical powers that really rule countries and our world more and more. We know that politicians are nowadays elected a little bit in the same way that companies can sell shoes, soap, motorcycles, or computers. Some experts, namely in social engineering, investigate people, they investigate us to understand how to persuade us, how to convince us to vote in some politician. They try to understand what is it that we think we need, what is it that we think we believe, where we want to go, to use that to convince us to go for voting. But truth is not an issue. They're not searching for truth. They are searching for manipulation and persuasion. Politicians promise a lot, knowing they are not going to do it. Their main promises are mostly to the economical powers that be. We know that politicians typically lack vision. They are not even able to talk about love. They don't really value truth, honesty, transparency. We see that all over the place. For instance, at the beginning of this year, there was a projection about military expansions to our world. They amounted by February, I think, to something like $2.4 trillion all over our planet. This means that the arms companies, the corporations that build armament, are very happy about this because their profit comes always from war. So they don't want peace. Peace ruins them. No politician seems to be able to talk about this, to mention this. They seem to lack the courage, the honesty. They seem to lack the vision, the truthfulness to talk about this sort of thing, and many others. They only talk, apparently, what they are told to. So, no democracy, economic dictatorship everywhere. In an economic dictatorship, we are not killed. We are not just in prison because we have a discording voice. We are silenced because we are censored. We are stopped from talking. Our voice cannot go anywhere. We are shadow banned. We are criticized systematically. Our jobs might be suppressed. We might have trouble finding places to stay, and so on. And sometimes even the police comes after us because we don't agree with some measures and we no longer have the right to stand for ourselves and to go against them. More and more, huge corporations know everything about us, who we are, where we go, what we like, what we dislike, what are our desires, our ambitions, what drives apparently our lives. And they use that in a way against us, to manipulate us and to be sure that they keep us as consumers, also according to our possibilities money-wise. This is not democracy at all. This is systematic control of people everywhere. And the corporations and the economical powers to be, they mostly deal now with information about people. They know where we go, when, what time, what for. They know it through our own declarations, through our credit cards, through our mobile phones, our TVs, through street cameras that more and more can identify each move we do and who is doing that move. So let's just think about this. We no longer have dictatorships vs democracy. We have political dictatorships vs economical dictatorships. More and more, democracy is just a vague idea, also used against our freedom to manipulate us. And this is the idea for now. As usual, if you like this, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll be back.